Few encounter has less frame per second than the PowerPoint presentation. I tried to make a tanky build that can survive with this condition, so we can just stand still and tank everything that on the screen and collect huge amount of divines. The build tankiness is surprised me. What's up guys, Pidget here. The build right now has 57% quantity, 288% item rarity. We're reaching that with 2 well-rolled Ventur's Gamble Unique Ring with max roll item quantity, high item rarity and good life rolls. Also using Gold Ring Boots with max rolled quantity. We can't miss out the Magic Finder Flask, Divination Distillate. And this Flask active all the time because we're playing as Pathfinder. Only sad thing about this, you have to press the Flask every 5 seconds. Using your rare helmet with increased rarity rolls and increased rarity of slain rare or unique enemies. Without damage, quantity is worth nearly nothing. Our skill choice is Penance Brand of Dissipation. You create a band that will connect to enemy and start gathering energy, dealing more and more damage per energy. The maximum energy is 20. At this point the brand will do maximum damage till the brand ends or the target dies and jumping another target. To ramp up faster you need a lot of cast speed to get 20 energy fast as possible. We are adding to the mix poison so we can play as Pathfinder and be tankier than all of the Magic Find builds. We can use 2 curses in the build and both is automated so we only need to press the brand, Flask and the movement skill. Using Ascendancy Gentle Touch Unique Glove. This will give us 1 curse, that's temporal change which is we always using in the poison build. We can also buy a Corrupted with Despair on hit, so we don't have to cast manually any curse. We can apply these 2 because we are anointing Whispers of Doom, so our curse limit is now 2. Also the gloves increasing or clear, because when you kill enemy it will explode and this can start a chain reaction and blow up the whole screen, which is sometimes is a bad thing. With the Magic Find meta, you can't just kill instantly the Spire from the Abyss encounter. So you need to be careful how you positioning yourself and the brands. For this purpose we were using brand recall. So when you see the Spire you can just run away a few meters and recall the brands. Also this method is usable when you want just deal a little damage to the Spire. Put 1 brand on the Spire, wait a little and recall your brands, so it can start spit out the monster's horse. You have to be very careful or you will kill the Spire before it can spawn anything. This is when your many defensive layers came in, so you can just wait out the mobs spawn. Because we're playing as Pathfinder, we can't let out the biggest damage reduction from the build. We're converting almost all of the physical damage taken to elemental damage. We have 83%, using Lightning Coil, that's around 50%, a unique Flask namely Taste of Fate with maximum rolls, that's 21%. Because we have increased Flask effect node allocated on the tree, we also using Purity of Elements so we can use Watcher Eye with Fizz damage taken as lighting. As always, we take reuse damage from elemental damage because we're using all the elemental damage reduction Flask. You already noticed our life and Flask bouncing up and down sometimes look like we just take a very little damage. Well, there is a few reasons for this. We're using 2 Flasks which gain free charge when you get a hit. We have good amount of extra charge gain, so when we take many hits under a second, it will fill up and it will activate itself, healing us 4% of our life. The biggest recovery is coming from a unique amulet. For the first time in this channel, please welcome Defiance of Destiny. This amulet has a really interesting line. Gain percent of missing unreserved life before being hit by an enemy. This is especially strong in encounters when you are sustaining a lot of small hits, like Abyss where many monsters hitting you at the same times. We only can die to 1 shots, but because we have enough damage reduction in the build in a tier 7 map, I can't think any mod combination that could 1-shot us. I was doing double extra damage mod maps with extra projectile and I didn't even notice a single thing. Only 1 danger for this build, and that's the Flask Siphoner monster. If you see them, just kite them till they die. The Flask heal and the amulet recovery, maybe this is overkill for recovery, but hey, I don't like to use the 6 portal defensive layer in my build. If you think you only need the amulet, go for it and do the Flask effect increase mod on the Flasks. If you're doing juice maps with tons of wisps, you need crit immunity because the monsters could do big crits. In this build we can be crit immune easily because we are poison build, so we can take the poison mastery so the poisoned enemies can deal critical strike to us. Also worth to mention, you need stun immunity as well, otherwise you could get stun lagged or just would be annoying to map. We have stun immunity with a Flask craft, and we take Hurt of Folk little life node with stun avoidance, so we can 100% stun avoidance chance. I did around 50 maps. I got a Mage Blood, got 10 plus Voidborn Key, and looted more than 100 Divine Orbs. So the build is very good if you want farm currency. My main issue with this, only the Magic Find gameplay. I mean this Abyss farming strats. It gets boring real fast for me at least. This is why I only done 50 maps. It was fun in the first few maps, but after I did not enjoy it. Also the frame rate when the Abyss starts spawning hundreds of monsters is just bad. The textures start flickering, I don't even know what's happening on the screen. Just waiting till the brands finish the encounter, then move to the next. I just wanted to test it out the build so I can say this build 100% works if you're doing the same you saw in the POE. It's nothing wrong if you like this gameplay, I just personally did not like it. I would like if you hit the like button like the Shaper hitting the Elder so it can start spread to more people. Thank you! Few important things you need in the build, using a bunch of unique items. Let's start our main source of damage reduction, Lightning Oil. This will give us a huge physical damage reduction. Asynod Gentle Touch unique gloves with Despair Corruption. This will give the explosion and it will help us fulfill the inter requirement for the gems and the wand. 2 Vendors gamble with good quantity and item rarity rolls and try to aim high life. You can pay extra for this because you will make back the investment. The boots, gold ring with high quantity roll. Defiance of Destiny unique amulet. Without this, we would not able to tank everything in a map. Our annoyment is Whispers of Doom. Using a few rare as well. The most important piece is the helmet. Pure energy shield base because we're using Eldritch battery. I bought a fractured one with item rarity, spammed life essence till I hit another item rarity, then craft increased rarity of items drop by slaying rare or unique enemies. On the shield try to aim high life and maximum resistance. I don't think it's important to get the maximum resistance, but it will help us on mob with minus maximum resistance. The wand I'm crafted this, but you can use obliteration for extra kill. I just have this from the poison brand build earlier. It's up to you which you want to use. Flasks we're using is a ruby, topaz, a unique sapphire flask, taste of fate, a gold flask and a divination distillate life flask. On the utility flask you need to have this mind. Gain free charge when you get a hit. Submods reduce mana cost of skills and chase to avoid being stunned. On the gold flask, increased effect and craft item rarity. Pantheons we're using is the following: Soul of Lunaris, and you need to upgrade this, chance to avoid projectiles and reduce elemental damage taken if you hit being recently. This will up all the time. Minor, Soul of Ralakesh. Bandits, 2 passive point. I just want to highlight a few things on the passive tree that you need for the build, using 2 8 passive cluster jewel with Wicked Pole, Unweaving the Evil and Unholy Grace. Other side of the tree, same, Wicked Pole, Unweaving the Evil and Unholy Grace. 2 medium cluster jewel with Septic Spells and Brewed for Potency. The other is the same, using a Watcher Eye with physical damage taken as lightning by affected by purity of elements. Using Fertile Mind unique jewel because I needed the int for the wand, but if you can fulfill your int with other things or use obliteration, you can drop this for another rare jewel. Worth to mention here, you need to use 1 jewel with 3% mana reservation. Charm I'm using right now because we're choosing Wildwood Primalis, Suppression chance and Frenzy on hit. Increase poison duration for each poison you have inflicted recently up to 100%. And because we're using big energy shield helmet, plus 2 evasion rating per 1 maximum energy shield on the helmet. This will give evade chance, suppression here as well, and increased effect of Withered. We taking Pathfinder Razor Ascendancy. On your first lap we take Nature Reprisal. This node is a game changer in the early acts. Second lap, Master Toxicity. If you leveling with poison, if not, then this will be your third lap. The next is Nature's Adrenaline. Now you generating flash charges. Last lab, Master Surgeon. Now your lifeless will be active even if you reach full life. Gem and Gemling, starting with our main link, our body armor, penance brand, awakened undead chaos damage, awakened unbound ailments, awakened void manipulation, empower level 4, and awakened deadly element. In our gloves, plague bearer, withering step, brand recall, ancient support level 4. In our boots, Herald of Agony, Purity of Elements, Enlighten level 3, Malevolence. In our helmet or cast when damage taken, Immortal Call, cast when damage taken. Vitality linked to Argent support. In our shield, Inspiration, Divine Blessing and Haste. In our weapon, Enlighten level 3, Flame Dash, and Herald of Purity. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any question, please leave a comment below in the comment section. Also, I would like to say thank you to my Patreons for supporting me. Thanks again guys. Thanks for watching. I was Pidget. See you next time.